我想请教一下哈，就是巴伐利亚如何看现在全球的这个休闲船艇的市场
It's just my opinion. It's not perhaps a different opinion from other people. But we had a really high hype of sales in the industry during the pandemic, the corona pandemic. We have doubled our sales in 2 years, and a lot of people want to go sailing. At the moment, I think people have learned that they order too much boat, and not all people want to stay with boats. So we have a big pressure of boats in the market, and for that reason, we as a producer, we are under pressure, so we have less volumes. When we look to the future, we have to look back. And when I look to the worldwide market, in the sailing industry or in the sport industry, we are talking about people want to make holiday, and people want to relax also on water. And all these markets were more or less developing year by year between 1% and 3%, growing year by year. Also in Europe, also in the US, also in other countries. And I think that in the future, it will go back to that level. I don't know when the future will start. We don't know when it will start again. It might be next year, or it will take a little bit longer. But at the end, I'm absolutely sure that people want to make holiday with boats, with waters, for skiing, for everything, because the interest of and the time people have to make holidays and the money they have is getting more and more. So I think for the industry, in total it will be positive, but it will take time.
请问我们的销量是暴增嘛？但是疫情以后，其实大家对于海上这个休闲的生活，其实是个需求量的增长。那么这种情况下，为什么我们整个市场是在往下走
It's the first question what we are talking about. Is it new boats? Is it used boats? It's different, because we had a situation in Europe, for example, that people went into sailing and into powerboat, but not had an idea how it works, these holidays, and they bought boats. And at the end they learned it's not my business to go on a boat and make holiday. But at that time in the pandemic, it was the only way to make holiday for 2 years in Europe. For that reason they bought boats. Today they are selling the boats. So we have a lot of used boats in the market, and these boats needs to be sold. The second thing is that our dealers were really optimistic. They said, now we are selling and selling and selling. Instead of ordering 2 boats, they ordered 20 boats. And made up problems in production, and we all produced them, and they still have it on stock. So what we have, a high pressure of stock in the market, and a high pressure of used boats by people which don't want to make holidays on boats. So at least we have a 1 or 2 year production volume in the market, which are too much. And this volume has to be sold before we can produce new boats in a normal level. That will take time. We thought it will take a year. It might take 2 years. We don't know.
那我们现在看哈，其实欧美的市场是很成熟的嘛，就是欧洲跟美国这样子。当然，你如果看新兴市场，类似说像东南亚、像中东，还有类似我们中国大陆这个市场。
I think this company, Bavaria, from its older days, was really focused on Europe. And we have some activities in Northern South America, and also in China and Hong Kong a little bit. And what we saw in the last years, that the way of making holidays in these countries are improving in our direction. So not only a weekend, they're doing holidays for a week, and that is our business. We have seen that we have boats where you can stay for the whole life in the boats. That's everything in. There's kitchen, there's toilets, there's everything in. You can live on the boats. It's not a weekender boat. And this is moving out of Europe, also into the States, in America. It's a very low level of sailing boats, more power boats, but they are using more and more, and they're staying on the boats longer and longer. For that reason, we are focusing all on other countries, and focusing on North and South Asia. What we have to learn is how they're using the boats. Do they need more climatization? Is it fitted on their belongings to cook like we cook and so on? That we have to change. That's the reason why we have in contact with our dealers and say, what do we have to do to getting in this market more to the needs of the customers?
我方不方便问一个比较敏感的问题，就是巴伐利亚今年为什么没有参加杜塞尔多莫松
Can be a short story, but it can be also a long story. I will tell you the longer story. We see since years that the behaviors of our customers are changing. In the older days, we produced brochures. For each boat, a brochure. That is 10 years ago. And we presented these brochures to customers all the time during boat shows and so on. 5 years ago, we had not for each boat a brochure, we had for a range one brochure. Why? Well, people are more using internet, using our website, using different channels to get information about the products. They don't print out all the papers, they have it on their laptops. So for that reason, and especially during pandemic, this changed a lot. People were able to use more the electronic equipment. And we saw, for example, last year when the first boat show was in Dusseldorf after 2 years break, that we only had 50% of the people. No one wants brochures. No one wants so much information. They all had them on their computers, on their laptops, on their handies and so on. So for that reason, the consumer is changing his habit. It might be in the future a good idea to getting to the consumer closer. So we're spending more money for this kind of things. So we have all our products in details with videos, everything on our website. Yeah? And Marcus, you can say we spend so much money to do this, yeah? And this also was customers was telling us, when we have specific question, we call you. We call the dealer and we get the answer. So when we go to a show, we go to a local show in the region. They're not coming from Shanghai to Düsseldorf. They're going to Shanghai shop. It's the same in Germany. And then they're coming. We showed you a showroom we adapt here. And we have at the moment so many requests by customers who want to see our boats here and also to see how they are producing. So we're getting closer to the customer by using different channels instead of just be for 10 days in Düsseldorf and say come to us and we will show you. And for that reason, that's the main reason why we're not going to this big show. And therefore we're testing this year a different concept. That is a long story. The short story is it's so expensive at the moment. It's so expensive and it's getting more and more expensive. And you cannot imagine what it costs to get a boat from here, on the car, on road, to that place and back. It is getting more and more expensive. So we would reduce the number of products, and that is not in our way how we do business. We have a complex business. We have many different boats, and we need to show them. And we're going more and more to show them via different channels.
你去过了中国嘛哈？那我想请教一下你，以你几十年的经验，如果一个新兴市场要发展这个船艇行业，它政府需要做什么？
I think what is important for all industry is that we open borders. We all have to open borders. Yeah? That the products can run from A to B like the people want to have them. Because also people moving away out of any restriction. Because the world is getting smaller, yeah, and we don't have to think so much close to one country. I think we have to open ourselves and do the best for the customer, and that needs to open borders.